What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again. I'd like to apologize firsthand that this video is coming out very late. I'm quite sick at the moment, and I've not gotten the energy until now to make a video regarding yesterday's BFR. This is after the Tampa Bay Lightning game today. And, yeah, I know it was a 2 o'clock game yesterday, but I've just been so sick this weekend, and I've just needed a quick break so I could recover a little, in which I have. I'm feeling a little bit better than I was, but still not great. But I knew I had to get the video out. So the BFR for tomorrow will still be on schedule, hopefully. Game 56 against Philadelphia in Philadelphia was on national television on ABC. Chicago had been winless in Philadelphia since Game 6 of 2010 and had not won in the regular season there since 1996. So, yeah, pretty long curse. March 5th at 2 p.m. the game starts. Lankinen saves 23 out of 27 in the loss as Chicago completely embarrasses themselves in Philly. And then Martin Jones saves 26 out of 29. Shots were 29 to 27 Chicago. Hits were 33 to 27 Chicago. And faceoffs were 28 to 23 Philadelphia. Philadelphia wins 4-3. Chicago goes to 28 and 8. And it was one of the worst nationally televised games I've ever seen. It was also a very physical game. So early, it's a good save on Hayes. Tays saves a goal. Van Riemsdyk near break missed. Hawks look slow. And then at 15-14, it's a Philadelphia deflection goal from Oscar Lindblom, his 9th of the season, to make it from Hayes and Sanheim to make it 1-0. Then at 13:48, it's a Chicago penalty to Murphy for interference, which would be killed. Then there's a point-blank save on Hayes off a turnover. Giroux was slow to get up after the Murphy interference. There were some big hits thrown. The refs were putting the whistles away. And there were some clear penalties on both sides that just were not being called. Van Riemsdyk fans on a wide-open net. Good hit Farabee on Seth Jones. Good save on, I believe, Willman. And Stillman hits post with a second left. And then Braun had high stick to Kubalik clearly with no call. And Philadelphia, the first 15 minutes of that first period, was in control. Kane to Strom one-timer had been denied, and there was a good save on Van Riemsdyk, which we go to the second period. Caleb at 1936, it's a posted-in goal from Alex DeBrincat, his 31st of the season from Tays to make it 1-1. And then Lankinen made some good saves. Farabee fans had a wide-open net in a scramble. Caleb Jones is tripped and there's no call. 16-10, it's a Chicago penalty served by Johnson for too many men, which would be killed. I don't know what is wrong with this team. In Game 55 and Game 56 combined, there were 4 too many men calls on Chicago. That is ridiculous. But that penalty would be killed. It's a great pass from Kane, and at 7:21, it's a Chicago one-time goal from Dylan Strome, his 10th of the season, from Kane and Kubalik to make it 2-1. Kubalik caused a turnover and gave it to Kane. Kane right over to Strome, great goal. And then, so that makes it 2-1, and then right after at 4:32, it's a Philadelphia goal from Cam Atkinson, his 19th of the season from Farabee, to make it 2-2. And then Kane has a breakaway saved. Great pass by Farabee. No chance for Lankinen on the Atkinson goal. And then right after the goal, DeHaan and Brassard rough each other up. There's a scrum. Ristolainen goes after DeBrincat. Tays goes after him. Sanheim goes after Tays. And somehow at 4:32, it's a Chicago penalty to Tays and DeHaan for roughing, and Philadelphia only gets Brassard for roughing, which would be killed. But the officiating in this game was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And it was on national television, and it was two of the worst two teams in the league on national television. The NHL needs to fix this crap, and it needs to be fixed in a hurry. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze. And then there's a scrum after Stillman hits Brassard. Kane literally couldn't move with people on top of him. No penalties are called. A Philadelphia power play looks like a Chicago power play. Jones was out of the net. Jones is out of net. Hagel and Doc corner shorthanded. And he manages to get the puck away. Tays somehow got penalized on that roughing call. That's where I pointed an arrow saying how was he penalized for doing nothing. Lafferty tripped, no call. There were a lot of clock issues in the game. At least 4 or 5 times the game had to stop and reset the clock because something was wrong with it. there was a weird bounce right after a goal almost ties. There was a weird bounce right after goal that is scored at 1:58 from Dylan Strome, his second of the game, 11th of the season, unassisted to make it 3-2. It almost ties the game as Giroux takes a shot and it just bounces nearly right to him. And then in the third, McEwen wanted to fight Murphy. He rejects. The crowd boos, and then at 16:51, it's a barely snuck through goal, for Philadelphia goal from Derek Brassard, which ties the game with his fifth of the season from Farabee and Atkinson to make it 3-3. There's a big hit on a Philadelphia player on by Kubalik. The Kane was causing Konechny was causing trouble as a pest. Then at 11:32, it's a Philadelphia screen goal from Cam Atkinson, second of the game, 20th of the season from Farabee to make it 4-3. Philadelphia interference went uncalled, and then I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. It's like Connaughton. Connaughton absolutely destroyed Kane on a hit. He was fine. Farabee big hit on Murphy, and then Van Breemsdyk breakaway saved, and then Connaughton is down and can't get up off a dock hit. The Flyers were actually angry at it, and it was Giroux was yelling at Taves, and Taves was yelling at Giroux. The hatred in this game was real. It was a very nasty, ugly game. Dock and Connaughton came together, and there had been no call on either side. Sam Hine pounds DeBrincat's head into the ice without a helmet as at 3 seconds, it was like there wasn't 3 seconds. There was three Flyers that went after Taves after a play. Then DeBrincat, Murphy, and Caleb Jones go and defend the captain. Sanheim pounds DeBrincat's head into the ice without a helmet on, and there's no penalty whatsoever. There's no advantage penalty. So there's penalties to Murphy and Caleb Jones, and there's penalties to Ristolainen and Konechny, which all offset. So there's no power play Chicago still. Atkinson post on a wraparound. Lindblom down, slowly gets up. He was able to get off, and then the fact that McEwen was angry at Doc and wanted to fight him then, and then it was for a clean hit as well, and McEwen just wanted to fight, and then another scrum happens, and somehow at 7:18 it's the first Hawks power play. And it's a Chicago penalty to Seth Jones for holding, but Philadelphia has penalties to Lindblom for high sticking, which is a double minor as it cuts Seth Jones. So the Hawks end up getting a power play, which does absolutely nothing, and it would be killed. The minor was served by McEwen, if anyone wanted to know. Lankinen is pulled at 1:55, and at 1:26, that's a Chicago penalty for too many men, and it's served by Kubalik again, which would be killed. There were 4 guys in the Flyers box at this point, and 3 guys in the Hawks. Lankinen pulled again at 45 seconds while shorthanded. Timeout at 23.9 seconds for Chicago, and they can't even get a shot off, as one of the most pathetic performances I've ever seen for a nationally televised game for a team the Flyers didn't play well at all. The Blackhawks played below average, and the officiating was one of the worst performances I've seen, and probably is the worst I've seen this year. So congratulations to the NHL on a flop of a nationally televised game, and as well as the announcers kept saying the wrong names. I'm not sure who it was. There was someone who kept saying, instead of Dylan Strome, they were saying Ryan Strome, and he's on the Rangers. But yeah, everything that could go wrong for the Hawks did go wrong, and nothing went their way. Not one call. The Flyers had everything going their way, and they looked awful, to be honest. The only players on that ice that looked good were Farabee and Atkinson, and they showed it, as Farabee had 3 assists, Atkinson had 2 goals. But yeah, there's really no change in the board. Vancouver moves up, Anaheim moves down. Dallas actually just moved ahead of Nashville, I believe, because of what happened tonight. But that doesn't matter because that's not for tonight. I'm not doing the games for tonight. Other than that, that's all. I think that's everything that's new. Buffalo moved back ahead of Ottawa, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm pretty disappointed at the result of this game, just overall for both teams, the NHL as a whole. It's not a good look if you're the NHL. I'll put it that way. Pathetic game, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.